Caitlin Clark just did something that no athlete has done since Michael Jordan.
Basketball was permanently altered by Michael Jordan. WNBA veterans are unable to cope with Caitlin Clark's Wilson deal, which is doing the same thing. The Michael Jordan comparison comes directly from Jordan himself, confirming the seismic impact she's having on women's basketball. This is about a rookie who's tripling attendance, breaking 62 records, and making some veterans so envious that they're targeting her on court. Thousands of signature basketballs sold out in 40 minutes flat.
Caitlin Clark wasn't, no one ever said there weren't ever great players before Caitlin Clark. There was never phenomenon, not in my lifetime, with women's basketball. And I went to UConn, so I've seen plenty of great players, but nobody's ever moved the needle in my lifetime like this.
Similar to how Jordan changed the NBA in the 1980s, Clark is changing the WNBA scene now. Her unparalleled success challenges the status quo and challenges veterans who have never witnessed anything like this before, and we have the evidence right here.
Today, Wilson unveiled Caitlin Clark's signature basketball, making her the first athlete since Michael Jordan to get their own signature basketball from Wilson. She also becomes the first WNBA player to get her own signature basketball from Wilson.
Yes, that's correct. People waited in line for days when Michael Jordan introduced a product, but Caitlin Clark has done something that has never been seen in women's basketball before. She has achieved the same degree of market-breaking power. The Wilson deal is a significant turning point in history. Let that sink in for a moment. No female basketball player has started their own signature basketball collection since Jordan himself. The WNBA's veterans are watching this phenomena emerge with conflicted feelings. Cheryl Swoops, who once doubted Clark's capacity to support transition during her time in college, is now admitting to Clark's extraordinary commercial influence. The tension is evident when Clark's name is mentioned alongside Michael Jordan's in marketing discussions, a comparison that questions the established hierarchy in women's basketball.
Clark is the first ever female athlete to have her own collection with Wilson, but just a heads up though, the entire collection on the Wilson website is sold out.
When those iconic basketballs reached the market, Wilson greatly underestimated the demand. Thousands of basketballs disappeared from stock in just 40 minutes, outpacing the debut of major gaming consoles like the PS5. This deal's incredible impact became immediately obvious. This shopping frenzy shows how Clark's cultural influence goes well beyond conventional basketball fans, generating economic reverberations across women's sports marketing. This level of consumer enthusiasm is similar to what we witnessed during Jordan's heyday. Clark has revolutionized the economics of women's basketball by motivating supporters who are opening their wallets at record rates. According to the commercial response, Clark has attained widespread acceptance, something that many veterans have been doing for years without much success.
Calling all Caitlin Clark fans, 2 new limited edition basketballs are now available at select Hy-Vee stores. The designs are part of the Inspire series that Clark is doing in partnership with Wilson Sporting Goods. The tribute ball pays homage to Clark's time within the Iowa women's basketball team, and the Dreamer ball is designed to encourage athletes to pursue their dreams. Both are available in sizes 3 and 6 at select Hy-Vee locations.
The collection itself provides an engaging account of Clark's unique playing technique. Every basketball has a certain meaning, and the 3-up ball honors her exceptional shooting range, which compels opponents to keep her at half court. Her statistical domination is highlighted by the record breaker. Each element of the laser-cut design relates to particular facets of Clark's game that are transforming women's basketball, resulting in a line of products that feels genuine rather than just promotional. The throng, the way that Clark transforms an arena into an event, is captured by Maestro Ball. When she takes the court, the atmosphere changes drastically, and people who had previously disregarded women's basketball suddenly become involved with every play. This magnetic quality is an innate ability that distinguishes transcendent athletes from ordinary ones.
Wilson did not mess around with these basketballs. Geometric patterns form the number 22 in triangles whose 3 sides nod to threes that fuel her scoring, and then the black and yellow is a nod to the colorways of the Iowa Hawkeye.
The apparent conflict inside the league is explained by this extraordinary market reaction. Veterans have spent years cultivating a broad following without attaining similar financial success. After 10 years of professional play, Clark has already achieved what many others couldn't. And when basketballs sell out more quickly than cutting-edge tech products, It shows how far Clark has come from being an athlete to a cultural icon.
Yeah, but she's incredible. Congratulations to her and her family. Yeah. The crazy thing is I'm just seeing her last year when they played LSU, but she's phenomenal. I'm going to go on the record and say she's the best female collegiate player ever.
Ever? Well, I don't know about you.
The Wilson agreement illustrates Clark is more than just another gifted rookie. She has already accomplished something never seen in women's basketball. Her commercial impact is demonstrated by tangible sales numbers that put her in contact with the game's greatest legend prior to her rookie season, radically altering perceptions of what is feasible for female basketball players in the marketplace.
And when you take into stock the fact that outside of Kevin Durant, aging superstar, LeBron James, 40 years old, and Steph Curry, there's not a single NBA player more popular today than Caitlin Clark. That is a
While some veterans find it difficult to accept Clark's quick rise to the marketing summit, forward-thinking players see the opportunity Clark presents to raise the profile of the entire WNBA by drawing unprecedented attention to the league. Her widespread visibility draws more sponsorship dollars that benefit all players in the commercial ecosystem of women's basketball. Because of Clark's extraordinary success, others can follow in her footsteps, which might completely change the way that female athletes are seen in the industry.
According to Sports Pro, Caitlin Clark is the fourth most marketable athlete in the world. Yeah, not just female athlete, not just in the United States, but in the entire world.
As Clark continues to elevate the WNBA as a whole, she made a marketing move that at first perplexed industry insiders, but eventually demonstrated her brilliance. What could possibly be more relatable to middle America than putting trademark basketballs next to milk and eggs? This historic action is changing the guidelines for how female athletes can shape culture. When you think of superstar athlete partnerships, you most likely picture high-end sportswear, luxury goods, or perhaps energy drinks. Caitlin Clark chose to establish herself in the aisles of Hy-Vee supermarkets throughout the Midwest. This was a brilliant strategic move that demonstrates why Clark is competing on a totally different level than anyone else in women's basketball. You certainly don't picture the neighborhood grocery store.
Basketballs, very, very cool. Big deal. Good job, Wilson. You know, they probably went and put this together. I mean, maybe Hy-Vee contacted Caitlin Clark first, but you know, it's probably the type of thing Wilson is trying to do.
Imagine the familiar beep of scanners at checkout, the fluorescent lights whirring overhead, and parents pushing carts through congested aisles before abruptly switching between the dairy and domestic necessities sections. While elite sportsmen seek out upscale department stores and boutiques, Caitlin Clark's iconic basketball stand is proudly on show. This isn't just a random placement, it's a homecoming. Clark selected the typical setting where families in the Midwest spend their weekends.
Here, they just had this going. This is the Hy-Vee Instagram account. Again, Wilson, Caitlin Clark, really smart, very cool video, lots of smiling faces.
Consider it. You can't get that kind of engagement from a billboard or commercial that people might ignore. The typical American goes to the grocery store 1.6 times a week, and every time they walk down that aisle, they see Caitlin Clark, and you know what's amazing? Some WNBA veterans still don't grasp the approach. They're so preoccupied with projecting an image of seriousness that they've forgotten what Clark realized right away. Becoming a cultural icon entails interacting with everyday people where they spend their time. The Hy-Vee partnership places her products where people shop, but more significantly, it communicates with middle America. I'm one of you. Clark presents herself as the hometown hero who is also revolutionizing basketball.
And I've said it a million times, it's not breaking news, it's not brand new, but I really do believe Caitlin Clark is the next face of basketball. You know, they've been searching for that in the NBA. Who's the next face of the NBA? It's been LeBron and Steph carrying the torch. I think the next face of basketball, period, is Caitlin Clark.
WNBA games average 1.18 million viewers, which is 3 times the league average. Take a look at what happens when Clark on the court. The numbers don't deceive people. What we're seeing is historically elite. Clark is taking everyone to women's basketball, and your dad, who has never attended a WNBA game in his life, is now inquiring as to when the Fever will play next. She is not only brilliant on the court, but also outstanding off it. Caitlin Clark is one of just 2 rookies in history to average those ridiculous postseason numbers, along with Michael Jordan. 18-plus points, she has been walking hand in hand with the GOAT from day one, contributing more than 8.5 assists, 5 rebounds, 1 block, and 2 steals a game. This goes beyond just selling basketballs. What Jordan did for men's basketball, Clark is doing for women's basketball. She is a cultural phenomenon who happens to play basketball, and that difference is crucial for long-term effects.
We knew Caitlin Clark was marketable, but she's been put over some pretty big names. In fact, some worldwide, huge, international names. 2 of them being Messi and Ronaldo.
Some veterans continue to use an antiquated strategy, while Clark creates a completely new one. They are vying for conventional sports marketing opportunities while Clark creates her own platform and invites everyone to join. What's even more amazing is how Clark stays true to herself throughout her collaboration with a Midwestern grocery chain, which perfectly fits with her personal brand and roots. She's doubling down on exactly who she is, and it's working incredibly well.
The idea of some players being jealous, yes, that probably exists.
Okay.
To me, yeah, jealous, sure. I mean, would you be jealous of somebody that got $28 million a shoe deal or whatever the deal is before you step foot in the pro?
Even though Clark interacts with regular Americans at grocery stores, there is nothing daily about the division she has unwittingly caused within the WNBA. The sharp contrast between her estimated $11 million in endorsements and her $76,500 league salary isn't just a figure on paper. It's the focal point of a rivalry that threatens to overshadow the game itself. This financial gap has caused veteran players to push back on the court with physical play that seems to be intended to make a point RA. The players who have battled for years to establish the league's image are watching as a rookie immediately commands the attention they've been chasing their entire careers. And to be honest, can you really blame them? The aggressive double teams and extra contact aren't just strategic, they're personal. Imagine working tirelessly for 10 years to create a league from the ground up, only to have someone else virtually instantly take over as the face of all your hard work.
They try so long to get respect for women's basketball, and then they treat it like a junior high school girl's locker room. Junior high school girl antics on the court. Instead of playing the game, they gotta be drama because they're jealous. Instead of letting their skills speak for themselves, they gotta be drama.
He criticized the league's handling of the incident, saying, "The tension is evident during games, and it's not just fans who are noticing." Even basketball legend Charles Barkley couldn't stay silent about it. They couldn't have messed this Caitlin Clark thing up any worse if they tried. Barkley's criticism goes deeper. The WNBA wasn't ready for a player who could change the women's basketball industry's economics overnight.
Yeah. But the stuff toward her is petty and jealous. And the thing I love about her, she never says a word.
When Clark takes the court earning less than $77,000, but making millions for the league, it reveals the structural issues the WNBA has been ignoring for years. This isn't just about envy, though. It's about a system that wasn't designed to manage a great player. The pay cap, which was intended to inspire humor, now appears to be a roadblock keeping the league from appropriately appraising its most valuable asset.
And what a lot of people weren't willing or were a bit reluctant to appreciate was the gain on this young white sister of ours. She can ball. And oh, by the way, she was a great ambassador for the game. And by the way, she came in there and looked out for everybody else. For 22 years, they couldn't get chartered flights. That sister got there and it was done in 2 weeks.
And this is what makes it much more intriguing. Instead of retaliating against the veterans or demanding preferential treatment, Clark is using her newfound power to make things better for everyone. Did you know that she has already assisted in securing charter flights for all teams and improved travel arrangements? Women's basketball into prime time slots thanks to a huge $200 million media agreement. These benefits extend beyond Clark. They also help all of the league's players, including the veterans who ignore her.
So the league won, but every time we think there's a win, there's somebody who brings something else up. And it's unfortunate. It's like when Tiger joined the PGA Tour.
When a rookie earns 144 times more money off the court than on it, the WNBA needs to confront outmoded marketing methods, limited mass appeal, and a compensation structure that doesn't reward players who drive growth. The turmoil around Clark has turned into a mirror reflecting everything. The league's pay structure was not intended for someone who can sell out thousands of signature basketballs in 40 minutes or who can increase attendance by threefold simply by showing up. So something obviously needs to be fixed.
What if I told you a WNBA rookie was out here doing what no one thought was possible and outshining the great Michael Jordan's legacy? How would you react? Caitlin Clark is the girl flipping the script. Her rookie numbers are ridiculous. Fans, analysts.
What's really amazing is how this 22-year-old is handling everything. As social media is ablaze with cryptic posts from experts and analysts discussing the tension, Clark continues to show up and deliver. She's not just surviving the pressure, she's thriving under it. Now, she has an endorsement that could finally quiet the critics when Michael Jordan speaks basketball listens, and Jordan didn't just talk. He gave Clark his stamp of approval, saying that the WNBA owes her recognition for everything she's doing for women's basketball. Consider what that means coming from the man who changed the way we view athlete marketing. This is the most important voice in basketball culture, recognizing that Clark's actions go beyond the typical rookie influence. It's not just another voice in the argument. Jordan's support signals a sea change in this narrative and confirms what the data has been indicating all along. Clark is not simply well-liked, she is revolutionary. Her arrival has already compelled the league to change more quickly than anticipated. The WNBA's decision to fully embrace the opportunity Clark represents or stick with outdated business practices is more important than whether Clark merits the spotlight anymore.
He's getting the lion's share of the attention. The games are now getting all of his games are on TV. And he just was a polarizing figure. And Tiger Woods was like that when he went to the PGA as well. He changed the total economics of golf the same way Michael Jordan changed the financial economics of the NBA.
Clark is entering a completely new field of difficulties. Caitlin Clark is the one best suited for this moment. Even if the pressure is greater, the spotlight is brighter, and every action will be closely watched. There is no denying that the game is constantly evolving.